Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to share with you 7 tips for a clutter-free fridge and pantry. And food and groceries can be tricky. They are essentials, but I think because of that, we can sometimes be tempted to give them a free pass. But if we aren't careful, they can quickly cause clutter to build up and disorganization to take over in our kitchens and pantries. So today, we're going to look at some minimalist grocery hacks that I like to use to keep my food simple and organized. I'm definitely not perfect in this area, and honestly, I often have to remind myself of several of these tips. But overall, they really have made a tremendous difference in just the simplicity of my kitchen. So I'm excited to dive right into this topic. If you haven't already though, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. And a big thank you to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. We'll talk about them in a bit, but now let's jump right in. And this first tip is one that's made a huge difference in my home, and that's just to have staple meals. Think of this one as kind of like a capsule wardrobe. When you have a capsule wardrobe, you have a set number of items that you can choose between when crafting your daily outfits. But you can apply that same idea when it comes to your meals too. Try thinking through what are some basic meals that you can rotate through to provide some variety to what you eat while also providing a bit of structure. And this can really simplify your food and your groceries in a number of ways. First off, if there are a few basic meals that you eat on a regular basis, shopping for them becomes a lot easier because you just inherently know what you need, what you might be running low on, and what you need to buy. It can also help you from accumulating fridge or pantry items that you hardly ever use because you're regularly using all of the ingredients in your pantry. And what's cool too is that if you're strategic about the meals that you choose, you can actually stand to save money by selecting meals that are going to maximize cost efficiency and flavor. So having staple meals can be a great place to start when it comes to simplifying your food, but something else that's really helped us is to create and use grocery lists. And I'm not just talking about jotting down a few things that you need as you're on the way out the door to the grocery store or literally in the parking lot as you're about to go in. But what's really had a big impact for us is having an ongoing grocery list that we can add things to throughout the week as we run out of them or as we notice we're running low. And notice the language I use there. We is a really important word. Regardless of who you live with, whether it's a spouse, family, roommates, whatever, if you share food with that person, I highly recommend having a shared grocery list as well. And so Christopher and I keep our grocery list on a shared notes app on our phone, and it's really easy for each of us to add things to it as we notice that we're running low on things. And whenever I go grocery shopping, I'll always check that and use that as a reference when I'm out so that I make sure that I'm not bringing home more than I actually need or things that we already have. It's a really simple and easy system, but it really does help prevent us from over-shopping and overspending on food. Okay, and then our third groceries hack is to use substitutions liberally. If you're trying to make a recipe that has a rare ingredient that you don't keep in your cupboard on an ongoing basis, don't go out and buy it. Those single-use ingredients or items that you're only going to use a handful of times a year really aren't worth it. More often than not, they're just a waste of money that's going to take up valuable space in your kitchen. So instead, what I like to do is substitute that single-use ingredient for staples or pantry items that I already have. And a great example of this can be found in one of my favorite staple recipes, Korean beef lettuce wraps. The recipe I use always calls for rice wine vinegar, but I almost never have that on hand in my house, and so I'll just easily substitute it out for something like apple cider vinegar, and honestly, when you're eating the finished product, you can barely even notice the difference in taste. So substitutions really can help to eliminate pantry clutter and really help you to stick to staples. And we've got some more really helpful groceries hacks to get into. But before we do, I want to share with you a great option I've found for healthy and affordable food staples, and that's today's sponsor, Thrive Market. And Thrive Market is an online membership-based market on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everyone. With their members-only prices, you can save an average of $32 on every order. So I've been using them recently to stock up on a few staples that I'd been running low on, like apple cider vinegar, oats, rice, and so much more. But what's great too is that they really prioritize healthy and sustainable products, from organic and essential groceries to non-toxic home and beauty products to ethical meat and more. So whether you're keto, paleo, gluten-free, vegan, or like me, just trying to live a more healthy lifestyle, Thrive Market really has you covered. And that goes for shipping as well. All orders of $49 or more are shipped for free and delivered with carbon neutral shipping. And Thrive Market is really big on giving back as well, which I love. Through their Thrive Gives program, every paid membership they receive actually helps sponsor a low-income family so they can receive a free membership as well. So if you're looking for a simple and healthy grocery solution, I definitely recommend checking out Thrive Market. And depending on what you're looking for in your lifestyle, Thrive Market has 2 different membership options that you can choose between. First, they have a 1-month membership for $9.95 a month. And then they also have a 12-month membership for just $5 a month. And that's billed annually at $59.95. So you can really just pick whichever option works best for you. And what's really cool is that if you join Thrive Market today, you can actually get 25% off of your first order plus free shipping. So if you want to check out that very special offer, just go to thrivemarket.com/Ashlynne Eaton or check out the link in the description box below. Let's continue now though with our 4th hack, and that's to group like items together. This is a quick organization hack that makes things easier to find, which is useful in and of itself. But what I find particularly powerful about it is that it helps you to understand exactly what you have as well, which can prevent you from buying more than you need or getting things that you already have plenty of in your pantry. Especially since there's just 2 of us living at home, I find that overbuying food can be a huge problem. Because if we have more food on hand than we actually need, it just ends up being a waste of money because that food goes bad. So by grouping like items together, it can just easily help you to get a better feeling for what you have on hand, which is helpful when you're making a grocery list and trying to figure out what you need. Okay, and then our 5th tip is to keep spices in check. And don't get me wrong, I love a good spice, but if you aren't careful, these can easily overtake your pantry completely. If this one is a problem for you, I'd recommend decluttering any spices or herbs that you either don't use frequently or don't like. I know a lot of people buy spice sets where you're getting a lot of different spices all at once, and often you'll use some of them and not others, and I'd recommend just getting rid of the ones that you don't use. But then I know duplicates and having multiple of the same type of spice open at once can be a big problem as well. So if you have that problem, just try condensing all of that particular spice into one jar. So start off by just generally reducing your spices and limiting them to the ones that you actually use and need. But then something else you can consider doing if you want to add an extra layer of simplicity and organization to this area is to get a matching set of spice jars. This can make your spices a lot easier to see and to store, and it can also provide some built-in accountability since you only have so many jars that you can use. This is something I did not too long ago, and it made a huge difference for me. I even went so far as to make custom labels for all of the unique spices and herbs that I regularly use, and I really love the result. Let's move on now though and talk about our 6th tip, and that's to put your groceries away properly. And when it comes to our fridges and pantries, most of us have set up an organization system at one point, but with time, disorganization can kind of take over when it comes to those areas. And what I've found is that there are 2 main ways that this happens. First is when we get something out either to eat or to prepare food, and then we get lazy and don't put the item back where it belongs. And then the second is when we're unpacking our groceries and rushing and shoving things in cupboards or in the fridge, just wherever it fits. Instead of treating these occasions mindlessly and just kind of putting things away without thinking about it, it's important that we create intention in the way that we put away food. Those few extra seconds that you spend putting food back where it belongs can make a huge difference in helping you to maintain organization and order in your kitchen. It literally is the difference between organization and disorganization. And where that really ties back to simplicity is that when our pantries and our fridges are disorganized, we don't tend to understand fully what we have on hand. And so it's easy for us to go out and buy something that we already had. It was just stored in the wrong place. So just take those few extra seconds. It's worth it. That brings us to our final tip though, and that's to replace without accumulating. I'm a big believer in waiting to replace something until you're on the last serving or you're actually out of the item that you need to buy. It's a really easy way to prevent multiple items being open at once or you buying too many things, which as we've been talking about already is going to create clutter and waste your money. but I get that waiting until things run out isn't always practical for everyone. So something I'd recommend doing if you like doing a big shopping trip at once and always like to have backups on hand, or simply if you have a set shopping day and don't want to have to go out a second time, is to try keeping replacements in a designated area of your fridge or pantry, and not to open those items or to get them out until you actually need the replacement. So you can keep your backup cereal box in a separate area of your pantry so that the first one is used up fully before you get the replacement cereal. This can be really helpful for things like fruit and vegetables too, ensuring that you're eating the older items that you have first before getting out the ones that you just recently bought. So that's it. Those are some of the simple hacks that we like to use to keep things streamlined and organized in our kitchen and pantry. And my hope is that this really helps you to simplify and to save money when it comes to the food that you buy and how you store it. Now I want to know though, are there any minimalist groceries hacks that you use that I didn't mention here? I'd love to hear about them, so be sure to comment them down below. And don't forget that if you're looking for a great option when it comes to affordable and healthy food staples, Thrive Market has got you covered. To get 25% off and free shipping on your first order with Thrive Market, just check out the link in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video though, and if you did and haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button below and follow me on Instagram for daily inspiration and updates. That's everything for today's video though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.